How's everybody doing? In today's video, we're going to be going over some MWZ tips. Now, there is so much to this game. There's so many mechanics and so many different hidden things that not only make your deployment easier, but make it easier for you for your next deployment, setting yourself up for your future of your deployment, and just overall gameplay mechanics that just make contracts, strongholds, whatever it may be that you're doing a lot easier. I'm Nomad, and here on the channel, we cover everything MWZ, but without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, one big tip I want to go over with MWZ is do not sleep on the dog. You guys know the dog houses that you find around the map, you put meat in it. You can put up to 4 meat, and depending on the amount of meat you put in there, depends on the rarity you get. Do not sleep on it. Do not sleep on the fact that these dogs are not only great for solo players, but they are great for players in a squad. And getting this meat to activate the dog is extremely easy, especially if you're in a tier 3 zone. And here's the beauty of it, guys. If you're in a squad of 3 or a squad of 6, every person in your squad can have a dog, and they are very easy to come by. I recommend at minimum putting 3 meat in the doghouse. I never do 1 or 2. I always do 3 to 4 meat because that'll boost the rarity of the dog, give it more health, give it more DPS. But imagine this, you're in a 6-man, you each have a dog, now you have a 12-man squad. And it is absolutely insane, and it really creates some fun gameplay when everybody has a dog, and it really helps mitigate the zombies that come and put pressure on you when you're trying to run around, because the dogs will completely surround them and the zombies won't be able to move. They'll attack the dogs. The only downfall, which is not that big, is you can't differentiate your and your teammates' dogs with actual hellhounds, but it's not that big of a deal, and the hellhounds will die in 1 hit. So do not sleep on the dogs. I highly recommend you guys using them. Let's talk about contracts and doing contracts specifically when you are in higher threat zones. Now, this works across the board no matter where you are on the map, but if you are a solo player or in a squad, just to make your game a lot easier, not all contracts are built the same. Not all contracts are worth it, in my opinion. Ground station contracts where you defend the ground station, I never do those. Not worth it. Outlast contracts, they're pretty good, especially if you're trying to get elites and things like that. But overall, the contracts you want to do are the delivery contract, escort contract, as well as the Aether Spore contracts. These by far are the best contracts in the game. They're the fastest. Now, obviously, the delivery contract is going to be the fastest overall. One thing that you can do is the delivery and the escort contract share a spawn. So if you do see an escort contract in your zone where you are, select it, cancel it, and immediately a delivery cargo contract will spawn in the immediate vicinity, and you could do that contract. This is super good in a high threat zone, especially solo. All you have to do is drive the car. Depending on where you select this contract, the path that you take with the LTV is going to be the same. So if you remember this, especially in the tier 3 zone, if you remember your path that you're taking, you can just streamline this contract and do it super fast. It gives you a higher and faster chance for you to find those schematics, those loot that you want. So not all contracts are built the same. Go for delivery, go for Aether Spores. Outlasts are just fun, and they're pretty simple as well. Now, since we're on the topic of contracts, the ground defend contract specifically, when you activate the final PhD, the main device at the end of the contract, after you've activated all those other 3 to 4, go to 1 building and you activate the PhD. If you activate that, this is going to work solo or with a squad that you can talk to. If you activate that PhD and completely leave the vicinity, no mercenaries are going to spawn, nobody's going to spawn, and the timer will hit 0, and you will beat that contract with 100% help. Not only is it going to help you in the Act 3 story mission, 2-factor authentication, but overall it's just going to be easy for you to just leave the area if you want and let that do its thing while you go do an Aether nest nearby or something, so you can kill 2 birds, 1 stone. When it comes to Aether nests and strongholds, infected strongholds, these are fantastic. They're super simple little tasks for you to complete, and you can get a lot of loot from them, especially the infected strongholds. The higher the tier, the better the loot, obviously, as you guys know. Now, these could be kind of annoying running in and out. Your guy does a gas mask animation, he puts a gas mask on, takes it off, whatever it may be. Most of these strongholds, specifically the strongholds, most of them you can kill about 90% of the cysts, the spores that are inside from the outside of the building. You get on the roof, if you find peak spots through windows and things like that, especially the warehouse ones, when you are on the exterior, you can kill most of the cysts before actually going in and getting those hard to find ones that are behind the doors and things like that. This will just make it easier for you. Run around the building, you can idle the zombies, kill as many spores as you can, and it'll make it a lot easier. If you want as well, you can even go into third person. This helps a lot, being able to see around different corners and areas that you may not have specifically looked for the cysts, as well as depth perception. That is a fantastic perk to have when doing infected strongholds overall. Now, you guys probably have seen it by now, and this vehicle specifically has already gotten a nerf in the most recent patch. What I'm talking about is a Bloodrunner bike. This thing is fantastic. It does not take damage. It does not have gas. It is basically a unbeatable, unbreakable machine. Beauty of it is its Aether Pulse ability. Now, this thing is pretty wild. Did get nerfed, but it still is extremely, extremely workable, and it does help a lot. This Aether Pulse not only can take out a bunch of zombies at once, but if you go into the storm, the Aether Storm, if you need to kill a Stormcaller, if you need to kill a high value target, this thing will kill the high value target as well as the Disciples, the Stormcaller, in one hit. Go drive by them, proc it, and they will die immediately. It is insane. This thing is going to get nerfed, so use it while you can, because that thing does drop some great gear. It does drop schematics. It does drop a lot of good stuff. I've taken them on numerous times and gotten plenty of schematics and things like that from them. So now let's jump into when you are doing a tier 3 zone, the high threat zone. There is a bunch of mechanics when doing this zone, whether you're solo or with a squad, that will help you tremendously. Obviously, like I kind of said before with the contracts, focus on delivery contracts. They're easy. Get an escort, cancel it immediately. A delivery will spawn. Super easy for you guys to get loot and work your way up. Another great thing that you guys want to focus on is stay on the roofs. Never be on the street. Go on the roofs the whole time. Jump around. If you have stamina up, make sure you do not have a secondary weapon. If you do, make sure it's a high mobility one or a knife in general. I usually just don't even run a second gun. Run around, you can kite everything, turn around, kill hellhounds if you need. Decoys are going to be your best friend. They're better than monkey bombs. They're the best tactical in the game so far right now, in my opinion. Throw them down, zombies will get off your back. If you want to kill them, you can, but they kind of are just a way to, and you can hold 3 at a time, so it's super great and they're easy to come by. Do not sleep on the fact of decoys are amazing. Use rooftops. As you guys know, you go into tier 3, the match is slowly ending. You're like doing your last contracts. You're about to exfil. You want to leave eventually. I highly recommend you guys going to the graveyard on the west side of Old Town. Pay your respects. You're going to see a blue bunny there next to a grave. It's a tribute to that famous Call of Duty scene where you pay tributes to the casket. Depending on what rarity of weapon you have, depending on its pack-a-punch, depending on how much essence you've spent overall throughout the whole match, pay your respects. You're going to have a chance to get really good loot, and you could pay your respects with both weapons. What you're going to do is look at the grave, turn around 180 degrees, prop will show up, says pay your respects. Pay your respects. Rift Orb is going to spawn. Go into it, and you will have a chance to get everything that you spent during that match back. You're going to get your Aether tools. You're going to get your Ethereum crystals. You're going to get ammo mods. Whatever it may be, you're going to get it back. Now, this is an RNG chance, but you might as well do it before you exfil. You could easily run there, pay your respects, get whatever you can back, and run out of the tier 3 zone. So next game, you have the chance and the ability to come in with better gear. Again, it's RNG, so say you have a pack 3, you may not get a pack 3 crystal, may not get an epic rarity Aether tool if your gun was epic. You might get common or uncommon, but it is a chance and it is ability to get you guys easier gear for your next deployment if you want to, especially because these cooldowns are insane right now. Now, since we're still on the topic of the tier 3 zone, what I highly recommend you guys doing, because essence just turns into XP we don't really need. At the end of a match, you're going to have upwards to 10, 20, 30,000 essence because you already packed 3, you already have whatever you want, or you may have spent essence during the game. What I highly recommend you doing before you exfil is go straight to the nearest buy and buy whatever you can. If you need a self-revive, if you need a 3-plate vest, by then you should have one. If you need extra kill streaks, whatever it may be across the board, spend all your essence because you're going to leave the match and you're going to turn and burn all that essence that you earned. So buy what you can so you can then put it either into your stash or bring it back with you for your next deployment. Load up your guy and it'll just make the game a lot easier. Don't just leave and burn up all that essence, because that's what normally happens. You're doing contracts, you're in a tier 3 zone for the majority of the match, you have so much essence at the end, and then you just leave and you forget about, okay, what I like doing is I like to set allotted time at the end of the match to know, okay, I gotta go to a buy station, I gotta go pay tribute, I gotta do all these things to set myself up for the next match. And in doing all this, it will give you the ability to consistently be able to jump into the tier 2 zone, tier 3 zone immediately in the next game. You don't have to worry about contracts, you don't have to worry about anything. Immediately jump in and it'll help you guys out a lot. Now, we do know the wallet from DMZ is coming back where we can bring essence in. This is going to be fantastic, especially for people who are grinding the end game, and when the rifts do come, viable rifts, we're going to have tier 4 zone open, so being able to bring essence in eventually is going to be fantastic. But this is a way, a workaround right now that the game offers, a mechanic they offer that will help you in the long run for your deployments, because you don't want to exfil, have a fantastic time in tier 3, and then have to work your way up again and waste 10-15 minutes burning your time through tier 1, tier 2. You want to be able to jump straight into the action, straight into tier 3 zone immediately. So this is what I do to be able to go straight into tier 3 immediately on all of my deployments, and it makes my time and it makes me utilize most of my time in the match in the tier 3 zone throughout the entirety of each deployment. Now, one big thing I've always stressed a lot in my videos, and I've seen people talk about it and they don't think it's a really feasible source of essence. Selling items in the game is absolutely a fantastic way to get essence. If you have a large backpack, looting is super important. Now, what you loot matters. Don't be grabbing glasses, pictures, and things like that. But one of the best locations I think before I head into a tier 3 zone is I hit up Saravan City. Saravan is absolutely fantastic because there's so many offices in this region. If you hit up this building by E7, if you hit up this area in F7, these areas, these two buildings, there are so many computers, $80 to $100 hard drives. You can even find the legendary hard drives, as well as there's a lot of the epic comics here, and those comics go for over $700 a piece. And just in this area, you'll hit up 15, 20 different computers in one area. Super fantastic. So I always like to hit up Saravan City, go through here. It's an easy 5 to 6k essence, and then I go to a nearest buy, sell everything, and then it can give me a boost in essence if I'm going into tier 3 zone or just roughing it out in tier 2. Now, my final tip of the video, and it's going to be very simple, but this is what I push the moment I deploy out there, is when you get into a match, as you guys know, this is purely PvE. This game mode is centered around helping others. Now, you will get into matches, and this is kind of the beauty of game modes like this. You're going to get into a match where people are not going to be helpful, but generally, a lot of players are very helpful. The thing that I do when I launch into a game, I usually go in solo. If I'm with a squad, I instantly type to the match and I'm like, who's pushing tier 3? You guys want to take on a 6-man squad? You guys want to make a 6-man squad going to tier 3? Instantly, it'll make a bunch of players on the map have the mindset of going straight into tier 3 as fast as they can. Now, some of these guys come in fully kitted out with Ethereum crystals and Aether tools. So a lot of these guys are prep, yourself including, can be prepped so you can jump straight into tier 3. What it does is it just gets everybody's mindset in the game. Okay, people want to play together and they want to do PvE, and we want to go and stick in the tier 3 zone. And I've had 2 squads of 6 where we all just kind of played together and had a good time. There's 12 people in the tier 3 zone, and beauty of it is pushing this early on, and it just makes the gameplay faster. You can get to the tier 3 zone faster so you can do more contracts. I also really recommend, guys, when the timer hits 0, as long as the Aether Storm is not near you, do not stress about exfilling. I know that is the biggest thing. People are saying the game should have a lot longer of a time limit. Now, I do agree to an extent, but after the Aether Storm has come, as long as it's on one of the edges of the map or it's not near you, you have another 20 minutes to just hang around until you get to the last exfil. And I usually do this in most matches where I will stay after the Aether Storm has come, and I'm like, I still have 15-20 minutes. I'm totally fine. I can relax. I can play the game normal. I don't really need to stress too much about the storm. Ping the closest exfil just so I know when I need to, I can get out of dodge. Do not stress, oh, Aether Storm is coming, I need to leave immediately. Stay and play it out. Play out these last ones. And here's the thing, the RNG and the drop chances when you do contracts and things like that gets boosted up once the Aether Storm comes, because the map changes. A lot of areas become tier 3. You can even fight in the Aether Storm. You can find gas masks very easily, start dropping very easily from mobs. So stick in the match as long as you can to get that boost and continue your way through, be able to play longer in each deployment. I appreciate you guys for checking out this video. If any of these tips were at all insightful, let me know down in the comments below. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Drop a like on the video as it helps me and the channel grow, and it just helps the video go out to more people. If you guys have any tips, tricks, guides, things that I didn't talk about in this video, let me know down in the comments below. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and as always, stay happy, stay hyped, and have a beautiful day. Oh my god! What is happening? Let's go!